Alrighty. Wool in my face. I just feel like when I can get the long jaw going nice, it always just feels like magic. It just goes zip, 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 zip. This project is going to be all about making Scrappy Art Yarn. Originally, this was intended for my Spinning Guild's annual fiber challenge, but I've procrastinated starting it, so I don't think it's going to get finished in time for that, but we're going to do it anyways. So I've got some wool here that I dyed with food coloring, and I kind of don't really love it. So we'll count this as scrap wool. I don't really know what I want to do with it, and yeah. And then I've got my box of weaving thrums and my ridiculously giant box of fabric scraps. I'm sure this is not going to even make a dent in any of this, but we're going to try and incorporate these things into our spin and see what happens. I'm pretty so slow today. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just going to get started prepping my fiber so that we'll have something to make bats of. Here I have my bag of waste wool from flick carding, and I've got all these thrums from weaving. I haven't even woven that much, and look, I already have all these thrums. I'm just going to kind of play around with kind of flicking these open and seeing how that goes with a little bit of fiber before we move to the drum carder. Let's see how this goes. Haven't done this before. Don't know if this is gonna like ruin my cards. But yeah, that's not doing anything. Let's see what happens. Obviously, I have no idea what I'm doing. I think in the end I might just end up chopping it up a little bit smaller. This feels like a spaghetti abomination. It does seem to kind of be breaking down the fiber slowly. You might just try a little bit of the cotton because I just have my doubts about how well this is going to go with cotton. We've got our bag of waste wool, and we've got my pile of thrums that I've fluffed up on my hand cards. I'm going to move my drum carder outside because outside is nice and I really need to clean under it anyways. See, this is upstairs. See, woo! I have not moved my drum carder and cleaned it in too long. And I do have some various sparkle things we could throw in there for fun. Oh, there's a big old clump. Yeah, definitely want to get that spread out because that would be hard to spin a clump of just pure thrums. Go ahead and split it apart. Okay, it's looking fairly evenly mixed. I'll go ahead and put this through a third time. And yes, that's the plan. Alrighty, there is our first bat. It looks so sparkly and colorful. I'm going to go stash this inside so that the breeze doesn't blow all our hard work away. And I will get to making some more bats. Squishy bats full of chaotic sparkle and bits of yarn. So now we can get to spinning. So I suppose that now the question is, how am I going to spin this? And the answer is, I probably really should get back to practicing long draw. When I was spinning my Shetland sweater, I was making a 3-ply so I could do cables and bobbles and stuff. So I was trying to get a little smoother of a yarn. So then I got back into the habit of more of a worsted draw. But the problem with that is that really ends up hurting my hands because I cannot for the life of me remember to not grip it too tightly, which is how I gave myself spinning injury more than once. So I really need to remember to practice some woolen spinning. Oh, well, okay, I guess I won't be spinning right now. Just noticed that the little connector is broken. And I don't know if I have another one. Okie dokie. Well, maybe we'll be spinning this on my antique wheel then. Well, now, of course, if we spin this on my antique wheel, I'm going to have to spin it quite thin, which might prove a challenge with some of these bits. I guess we'll give it a try and see how it goes. Yeah, what is on my... we have a visitor. Who's decided to spin with me. No idea what you are, mister, but I don't know. You're just gonna hang out on my shoe and spin with me? I guess we'll roll with it. Oh, visitor's gone. Okay. So long, whoever you were. There's a bit that... Okay, let's see. Now, can I do... Okay, there we got some long draw going on. Whenever I haven't done long draw for a while, I forget how much fun it is when it works, but then sometimes I get, set in the, oh no, I can't control it in the exact same way that I want. So then it feels, I don't know, kind of scary to go back to. It is really so much fun just to see the yarn form more. Now we need to decide how we're plying this. So my thought is, let's see. So I have this kind of art yarn that I made. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So for this, with the lace little bits, I had taken, not this one, but like something like this, like a crochet or weaving thread, and put it onto a needle, and then threaded little bits of lace onto it, and then kind of spaced, kind of like how you do with beads, like right, you pre-string the beads onto there and then fly with them. So this I did little bits of lace, and they pop out really fun. My thought for this scrappy yarn, instead of the lace, we could use fabric scraps. So my thought was to cut these in strips and then thread them onto one of these. I don't know. Let's see, what do I have? I've got this red, pink, or this kind of variegated one. Not sure which one. Anyways, yes. Take some thread, cut strips, and pre-thread them onto there. And then when I'm plying, it'll kind of maybe bunch up into cute little fabric bunches. That's my thought. We're going to do a test ply with the yarn that I spun on my antique wheel, because I realized I really like the look of this one, because it's like variegated and stuff, but it's kind of slubby. So I ended up, when I was trying to scooch down all the pieces I added, it broke at some point because it wore through. So I'm going to have to, if I decide that I like the effect, then I shall have to get one of the crochet cotton. It should be sturdy enough not to wear down from the sliding of the pieces. I ran out of the bits that were on the slubby yarn, and now I've been putting a bunch of more bits onto this crochet cotton, and I had forgotten how long this actually takes. I would not have the patience to do this for enough to ply that whole fat jumbo bobbin. No. So I'm going to finish off what I've got here. We'll see how far that takes us on this. Most of these little bits I just fed on through the needle, just kind of flat, and then they kind of scrunch up, and it looks fine. But then I experimented, let's see, then I was experimenting with kind of twisting it around as I fed it onto the needle. And I think when it's bunched up, it gives it a little bit more of an interesting shape. So much scooting, so I guess no surprise that it was making the slubby yarn break. Okay, now I'm going to wind this all bit up here so that hopefully it doesn't tangle on itself while I'm actually plying. Tangle! Bad tangle! Now we're ready to do some more plying. Here's what our bobbin is looking at so far. Looking pretty fun. I used up all the fabric that was on my plying this guy. I'm going to play around plying these. And then when we wind off this kind of test skein, then I'll kind of see how I want to go about plying the big jumbo singles. Okay, plan. Before we get to plying this chonky chonker, we are going to skein off this guy, yarn on the nitty dotty, and then kind of look and see what I think about the different techniques that I used to ply this with, so then I can decide what I want to do with this one. I still feel so awkward putting yarn on my nitty notty. Why have I never figured out a good way of doing this? Okay, what direction are we going? We're going like this. Okay. No, it's so awkward. I'm terrible at this. Why? Okay, where do I need to hold you? No, there should be a spot where I can hold you and just go back and forth, but why can I not figure that out? Time for the fabric scrappy skein. Okay, let's see if I can do a better job at holding on to my nitty notty. Like every time my brain is like, what are we doing? I have no idea. Okay, there we go. Oh, that took less time this time. Ta-da! Very tiny little skein. So now, of course, the very first thing that's quite obvious is that these are definitely not balanced. I knew this was going to be energized yarns because I did not bother to counteract the twist in the commercial yarn, because the commercial yarn, right, is at a state where it's balanced. And so most art yarn books say when you're going to ply with a commercial yarn, you should first give it more twist before you ply it, so that when it's plied, it's back to its balanced state. You can read books about that if my words are confusing. Okay, so but I didn't bother to do that because I was lazy. So I knew that it would be not balanced. And honestly, these are crazy wackadoodle yarns anyway, so why not throw in some wild, crazy twist energy to make it more wackadoodle? The second thing that's very apparent is, of course, that the Plying thread was crochet cotton and some other cotton. So you can definitely feel that there's cotton. You know, yeah. I've noticed on skeins that were like a thicker, where the art yarn ply was thicker, it's a little bit less noticeable in the hand, but a lot of this, the ply was fairly thin, so it's, you know, very apparent to my hand. Even just I can feel that there's a good amount of cotton in there. For this guy, I do have some random singles that I spun without a plan. So I'm going to take those random orphan singles and we'll ply that with some of this. We'll see how far we get. I do like the sort of coils that I did on this one. I think the bits of fabric on this one are fun, but it was really fiddly. It felt like it took forever just for the amount for this tiny little skein. In the future, I would definitely try this again. I probably would maybe want to go more with like a monochromatic scheme. I don't love like the pinky red of the wool. I used that for this project because I wasn't really in love with that wool color anyways, but it's kind of also kind of affecting my feelings on this finished yarn too. I don't think it's terrible, it's just not so much my jam. And of course, like the green yarn scraps mixed with the pinky red. I maybe should have chose my scraps more carefully, but I just was kind of throwing together what I had. I don't know, it's giving me a little bit of Christmassy vibes, but not really Christmassy because of all the other random. Okay, so I guess the lesson I learned is be more intentional with your color choices. I definitely think it would be fun in the future to try this scabric fraps, to try this fabric scrap idea again, but only, you know, to space them out. Some of, like one of this, and then maybe a bunch of the more kind of wrap coily ideas. So they're only like occasional fabric scrappies. because that would mean I'd get more yardage per the amount of fabric scraps I have to sit there and put onto the yarn. So combining these two techniques would let me have the fun of the bunchy little ruffly fabric scraps, but with less fiddly work. Okay, this is my second ball of orphan yarn singles. So I applied one ball. So there's one already applied, and I'm on my second one. And I don't know, having mixed feelings. I kind of don't love the sort of candy cane look of the cream with the pinky red. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. It's fun. I made way too big of a bobbin for a yarn that I have really no idea what I'm actually going to use it for, and that's just random stuff checked together. And I guess I'm having color combination regret. So I picked it to use in this random yarn because I had no idea how this would turn out. So I just was using stuff that I didn't really like very much. But that led to the fact that I'm just not excited about this. And then I made this giant pat, and then it's just... I got myself into this situation by my own decisions. I think that once I finish playing up this bit, I shall probably wind off some of this. I'll probably try and have it wind off with my ball winder and then just ply them together, because at least then I'll be using it twice as fast. And then I think in the end I'll probably over dye them. Maybe with yellow and have crazy orange yarn. I don't really know what other color would go. Now that this project is finished, I think I'm feeling a little bit happier with how it turned out. I definitely love all the textury and fun stuff, I guess, but I'm still kind of meh about the color, but it's definitely fun. So I'm thinking in the future that I will weave this up into some cloth and sew it into a project bag. And I may still end up over dyeing it at that point. I guess we'll see how I feel about it then. But I would say this is a fairly successful project. If you like these kind of projects, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe tell me what you think in the comments about the color, and if I decide to over dye it, what color you think I should use to over dye it with. And I'll see you next time. Bye.